Well, hello everyone. It's a beautiful day, kind of. But I tell you what, in Antigua, it's a beautiful day. That's for sure. Flipping heck, look at it. It's baking in there. It looks beautiful. Dick Weller batting really, really well. Nasanka batting really, really well. Those two just have been phenomenal. And Dallinger batted well, although clearly coming in when the new ball, Azari Joseph cleaned him up, but that's the only wicket so far. So far, so good for Sri Lanka because it could have looked a lot worse. I mean, given the new ball as well, you're probably thinking, you know what, flipping. Next thing you know, a couple of wickets are falling, but they didn't. They managed to hold on and have built even a fantastic partnership here. 113 runs from 200 balls, so really, really good partnership from both. And actually, someone that's really impressed me is obviously Nasanka's on debut. He looks a class player. He looks really, really class. But Dick Weller actually has looked fantastic in the sense that he was batting more aggressively, and now he's realised, okay, maybe I need to take it down a notch because they're bowling better, and he's just played very calculated, sensible cricket, which is what you need in Test cricket, isn't it? Let's be honest. So really, really good stuff. Oh, was that out? I think that's a drop, you know. That's a drop. It's Alzari Joseph a point. Dick Weller's gone to cut that, and I think it's gone straight to the man. Alzari Joseph a point, and he is livid with himself. He's on the floor, and he is just. You can see the West Indians are, deflated from that. Let's have a look. He tried to go over the slip cord. Actually, it's gone straight. It's a dolly. It's catching practice. It's a great height as well. It's a fantastic height. It just popped out. That's a shocker, seriously. And Jason Holder can only smile to himself because that would have been a really big breakthrough. To break this partnership of 113 odd is, that would have been fantastic. Unlucky for sure. Really, really good stuff though from Sri Lanka. I mean, that drop though just now from Azari Joseph is just going to be so costly potentially. I mean, the lead is now 270. They could get a lead of 300 plus easily. This partnership is over 110. I'm just having a look at the replay. It's a really easy catch. It's actually Carl Bonner. I thought it was Alzara Joseph. It's not. It's Carl Bonner. It's an easy catch, man. I probably would have taken that. Saying something. I mean, it's a good height. Didn't even need to move. It's basically perfect, really. And I think he's just been caught asleep in the field. And he's at point. I mean, it's one of those catches that you practice, like in the slip cordon, where you have a mate with a bat and you're behind and you're just practicing. That's literally what it was. It's poor stuff. But they'll just have to pick themselves up, dust themselves off. Drops happen in cricket. It's not ideal, obviously, but yeah, really crazy. Just tell you what, this is a cracking test match though, and I really hope it gets the plaudits it deserves because I've been very, very impressed so far with this. I think it's been a beautiful series so far. Sounds a bit weird, doesn't it, to say that? But no, it really has been. I think it's been really impressive. Rakeem Cornwall, there you can see the footholds starting to form as well, or have formed, which is really cool. And this is proper Test match cricket. This is going to get to day 5. I'll tell you what, it's going to be a very interesting chase. West Indies, I reckon they'll be chasing 320 potentially here. Who have they got after Nasank and Dickwella? I think they've got. Let's have a look actually. I know they've got Luckmal and also Chimera. Luckmal I don't think can really bat, to be fair, from what I remember. Let's have a look. Well bowled. Really well bowled. Have a looky. So, Nasank and Dickwella, and then they've got, Lakmal, who can bat. Okay, he must have to bat a little bit at least. He's at 8. 9 is Fernando, Embodini at 10, Chimera at 11. I think after Lugmore, they've got nothing, I think. So this is it. If they can break this partnership, then they're into the tail, and they can probably wrap it up relatively quickly within 30, 40 runs. But this has been a fantastic partnership, and I think that could be a big, big moment, that drop. I think it really could, because I think even the score now, the lead of 272, that score's going to be tough to chase tomorrow. And day 5, on a track that you can see there's footholds appearing, it's spinning a lot more. I think it's like 3 times the amount of spin today compared to day 1, I think it is. So Raheem Cornwall's getting quite a bit. I mean, if you think about Lassif Emeraldinia and also Danjaya De Silva, they're going to be lapping it up, that's for sure. And Raheem Cornwall just bowled, and only a single from his over. I mean, everyone loves a bit of Raheem Cornwall, don't they? Who doesn't love a bit of Raheem Cornwall? If you don't have Raheem Cornwall in your life, you're not living. 374 for 5 off 121 overs, lead of 272. Jason Holder coming back on. The drop was actually off his bowling. And I think he's just having a bit of a chuckle. He seems like quite an upbeat guy. He was disappointed at the time. Let's have a look. Yeah, he can't believe it. Well, let's have a look. Oh, a bit of chat there between Holder and Dickweller. What the heck? Oh, it's because he got dropped. That's why. He's saying, "Go on, hit me there again. Go on." Oh, he had the chat. That's so funny. So he chat with him before that, before that chance. So he actually talked himself into that position to get Dick Weller to play that shot. He got in his head. So that was really interesting stuff. This is a really good battle, though, at the moment, this test match. Charles says, hey, Fazang, such an interesting test match. Can't appreciate the fight back by Sri Lanka enough. Not just the score, but the amount they've batted in the second innings. 100%. I mean, someone, for example, like Dick Weller, who obviously just got dropped, but he was going at nearly a run a ball, and then he realised I need to slow down a little bit because they're bowling well. And he kind of dragged himself back and played more sensibly. I mean, I think the Sanka on debut has been fantastic. I mean, you can't ask for more, seriously. 79 off 190. He has been phenomenal. He's been really, really good. And I think that's been so impressive. It really has been. It's been fantastically impressive. And I've just been really impressed on the whole with. I mean, the Sanka's been great. Dan Jay was really good until he got out, and that was a good ball from Alzari Joseph. And it's funny because Charles says about the fight back, and really after that wicket fell, I was thinking, you know what, they want the new ball here with Indies. This could be, a couple of quick wickets, because they got Dan Jay really quickly. I think it was like the second or third over, or it was very, very early on. And I was just thinking, you know what, this could happen. But Sri Lanka just dug in. The Sanka dug in, Dikwela dug in, and that's it. And this has been a really, really valiant effort. And I'm starting to see, I could be wrong, but I'm a massive fan of Mickey Arthur. And for everyone that knows, that I support Pakistan, and he did a fantastic job with us, I thought. I mean, we won the Champions Trophy under him, so he couldn't have done that bad a job. And I thought he was really, really good. And I can start to see his imprint on this side having a much calmer and calculated attitude here, for sure. I mean, he's pretty new still to the role, so it would take him time. As we saw in Sri Lanka against England, they got pretty comprehensively beaten, and against South Africa as well to a degree. But here they've been better. They've been a lot better, and they put themselves in a very winnable position. I'll tell you that now. I reckon anything 300 plus, Sri Lanka are. I've got a better chance of winning the game, that's for sure, than West Indies. But West Indies did chase 370 odds, so you never know, right? I mean, if the thing is, once you chase something like 370, like West Indies did that against Bangladesh in that second test match, even that's it. You just think, we can do it again, especially at home. And yeah, I mean, they bat pretty deep as well. Alzari Joseph has got a couple of 50s he can bat, so it's going to be really, really tough. I just think this is so close to cool. I just can't wait to see how the rest of today goes, and also tomorrow. I just think it's going to be a really thrilling end to this Test match, and this is what you call cricket. Seriously, this is absolutely great stuff. I think, and I've been really, really impressed by just the level of cricket and also the level of competition. I think is the most important thing, and that's been missing in a few other series recently. So, yeah. Because like you can see the level, right? For example, take two other series that are going on at the moment: Bangladesh and New Zealand. New Zealand are at a fantastic level. Bangladesh are at a pretty good level, but those matches have been really one-sided. Similarly, India and England are at a fantastic level, both teams. But each match, a majority, let's say 90%, 95% of the matches have been really one-sided. So I think this must be really, really good. I mean, this is what you call a tight, competitive match. And Charles says Sri Lankan dressing room must be a mass class right now. What's a good score to defend? How many overs should we leave Windies to bat? How do we approach the next 20 overs? Call a meteorologist. Yeah, it's so true. I think they'll bat the whole day if they can, and they'll probably think a whole day is enough with the spinners they've got. Um, I mean, what the whole day? So they've got a few hours left. The thing is, the reason why I think they'll try and just bat the whole day is because after this, they've got Luckman, and that's really it. Like the tail will get skittled pretty quickly. So they probably just will say, let's cash in now. And if they can get a lead of, I reckon a lead of 300 plus is going to be tough. I think it's going to be very, very tough. With Sri Lanka's spinners, I think it's going to be extremely tough. Could be wrong, but I think it's going to be tough. But let's see. I mean, this is just, as a Charles said, I think this is a really intriguing test match. And I mean, it's just going to be great. Rakeem Cornwall about to get to 100, but that's runs conceded. And he doesn't. No, it's a dot ball. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, that's poor fielding. West Indies have been a bit lax today. I think they're just, it's bad, but I think they're a bit disheartened, which is fine, but you can't let it seep into your fielding and stuff. You've got to really pick yourselves up and have that mental fortitude. A lot of the players are still very green and still very new. So I can understand why there's that bit of naivety or a bit of kind of knee-jerk reaction. But I think, look, they need to really, this is a big, big step up. And I got to say, like, this has been really, really good cricket to see. We've seen some fantastic shots from both teams, some fantastic bowling, fielding. It's just been really good. The only thing I'd say about today, I think West Indies went a bit scattergun after the first wicket, and they realised, oh, we're not going to get another wicket here. When Sri Lanka dug in, and they just tried to bowl these magical deliveries, which unfortunately, like, you can't bowl out of nowhere. You need to build pressure first, and they weren't doing that, so it became really difficult for them to put Sri Lanka under pressure, which is why now we see this partnership of 122 off 220 balls, right? So, yeah. Charles says, I wouldn't do that for Zahn. I would want to break the flow of the West Indian batsman. Ideally, something like 15 overs today, giving me a chance to get one or two wickets. Yeah, I mean, thing is, like, ideally, Agile, if they can get I reckon 320 plus, right? I reckon 320 plus, and they can maybe declare. But anything below that, like, you can't be declaring. You just can't be, because you give them more overs to bat, and they could get it. They could get it. I mean, they got it in Bangladesh on day 5. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, they'll be able to do it. Well, they'll mentally think we can do this. That's the thing, and especially bringing in Jason Holder is a big, big plus, because he's a very good bat as well. So that helps you. So I think they'll mentally be thinking, Sri Lanka, that we need to get 320 realistically if we want to declare. Otherwise, they'll be saying we're just going to have to stick in here until the end of the day and see. But I think these two, at some point, maybe once they've kind of gone past the the 300 lead mark, that's when they might start to motor, as in they might just play a bit more aggressively, take a few more risks, and just say, we want to get to as kind of as big a total as possible, but also give ourselves enough time to bowl them out. Let's see. I would say Sri Lanka are in a better position at the moment, but this game is really in the balance. This match is in the balances. So 123 overs gone, 381 for 5. Dickwella 48 of 100. Nissanka is 83 of 196. Both have batted beautifully, but especially Nissanka. I mean, he's batted so well. He looks such a good player, and he's someone who looks like he's going to play all three formats. He's going to thrust into all three formats, and he's pretty much performed really. But yeah, I agree. I think on a Charles' point about giving yourself 1 or 2 wickets potentially the back end of today, I think that's the ideal scenario as long as you can get the runs on the board, right? Then yeah, you would do that. But it's just whether they can get those runs on the board. I think if these two stay in, they will. If they don't, then it might be a case of they actually don't have a choice. They might get bowled out before that, and then they will have time. But they'll need a lead of 300 is what they'll be thinking at least, especially in this position with 5 wickets in hand. Charles says, if things don't work out today, we have a new start tomorrow with a semi-new ball. Yeah, but I think they'll want to start tomorrow with a new ball. I think they'll want to start tomorrow with a pretty new ball. I could be wrong. But I just have a feeling they'll want to. They'll really want to make sure they can start off with a new ball tomorrow and kind of just hit the ground running. I mean, again, I could be wrong. It depends on the shape of your bowlers, like how energetic are they feeling right now? Because you don't want to give them the ball when they kind of trundle in. Like you want them to be really fired up, running in with a new ball. They might even give Woodini the new ball as well with, say, Luckmal. They could do that on this track. Woodini is a very good bowler with the new ball as well. I mean, Sri Lanka gets it, but the surface is a lot more friendly to spin than this surface. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. Jason Holder is back on, bowled a couple of deliveries, no wicket or no success really for West Indies, apart from that drop, which could prove to be vital off Jason Holder. Dickwella, outside edge straight to backward point, and Bonner could only, just spilt it really. It was a really easy chance. And Nissanka's on 83 at the moment. Dickwella, as I said, on 49, so he's fast approaching 50. This has been a really, really good partnership. Potentially could be match winning. What's really impressed me as well, I think, is the fact that the Sri Lankan batsmen have really adapted after having not a fantastic time in that first innings. They've now probably batting on a slightly harder surface to bat on, I would say, in the second innings, and they managed to actually put on a really good total here so far, and I think that's what's been super impressive. Looking at Nissanka's scoring areas, majority 40% between that point to wicketkeeper region, 40% kind of running down towards third man or just backward a point. So clearly someone who likes to use the pace on the ball and just guides it through that area. Played a couple of good kind of square drives as well for back foot. Charles says, I'd want to make someone who has been in the field for 130 overs back today, rather than giving them that mental and physical rest from all the fatigue. This match will be won or lost mentally. Yeah, that's true as well. That's a good point. Yeah, that's true. I think that's a valid point for sure, Charles. I think it just depends on the amount of runs they've got. I mean, like for example, if they were to, there's no way they're going to declare now. I think if they get 310, they might do it. But there's still quite a few hours left in today, so I think we'll probably see what you're saying, Joe. We'll probably see Sri Lanka get to around 310, 320, and then potentially say, you know what, we might declare. I think they'll probably want a buffer. You don't normally want to be saying, okay, well, actually, we think they can only chase this. You normally add 20, 30 runs to that to say, okay, we want to make sure because we don't want to kind of underestimate, and the next thing you know, they chase it. So they'll be looking, I think, more at a leader around 330, 340, but let's see. Yeah, looking at the scorecard, Estrada Fernando batted really well, as did Termane. And I think D'Angelo De Silva, I think the reason why I pointed him out is because obviously he's the most recent, but 50 or 79, he just looked really, really good. He's just a very good player. I mean, good off spinner as well. He just looks like an absolutely quality player. Sri Lanka have got some very good talent coming through, and I can't wait to see what they're like, Sri Lanka, in say 2-3 years time, because I think that the team is going to come together really well. Fantastic 50 from Dick Weller, 50 off 103, and as I said, he was scoring really quickly but slowed himself down to the situation and made sure that he put a value on his wicket. Obviously got dropped on around, I think it was in the 40s, but doesn't matter. He makes them pay, and it's 50 off 103 for him. Really, really impressive stuff. It has been really impressive, and him and Nisanka at this point are just like, you know what? Got our eyes in, let's dig in, let's keep going and keep trundling along, and that's what they'll be trying to do. Raheem Cornwall back on, he's gone for 104 for no wicket. So after a bit of success in that first innings, he's unfortunately, even though it's turning more, he's getting less success, which is quite surprising. You'd imagine. I think he's struggled a little bit with his lines today. He's normally very accurate, but today he has just struggled a little bit. Bowling probably a little bit too straight. He needs to back himself to put it outside that off stump and get and kind of really back it and back the surface to turn, rather than giving the batsman easy kind of nurdles into the leg side, which is what's happening at the moment. That's much better line length, making the batsman come forward, kind of just outside the off stump, and good for defensive from Nisanka. Very solid. It does look beautiful, doesn't it, Antigua? It just looks absolutely incredible. I mean, who wouldn't want to be there? Who would not want to be in Antigua right now? Wow. Incredible. Just, looks amazing. It really does. 3845. Oh, decent over from Raheem Cornwall. Only 2 from it. He doesn't look super threatening at the moment, as I said. I'm just going to update the scoreboard as well. There we go. Yeah, he doesn't look super threatening. But then, can I blame him? Probably not. I mean, it's difficult, right? Because if you've been so used to bowling that straighter line, then next thing you know, you need to change it. Some bowlers just, unfortunately, they can't adjust that quickly, and he's one of those bowlers that hasn't been able to do that, which is a bit of a shame because I think this surface now, considering how much is turning and given the amount of spin that should be on offer and is on offer, kind of emphasized by the degrees that they were talking about. It's just crazy to see. So, yeah, that's a bit disappointing, I think, from Raheem Cornwall that he hasn't maybe got more wickets here, or any wickets even at that. But let's see. Let's see how he goes. Jason Holder carrying on, and this is just a very, very intriguing matchup. It really is. For those of you watching as well, how impressed have you been by Nisanka? Because I think he's been phenomenal, like genuinely phenomenal. I think he's been so good. I think he's been really, really good. And I just think, on the whole, he's just been, I just think he's been great, to be honest with you. I really do. I think he's been a fantastic. I mean, he's just a fantastic addition, really, isn't he? He really has been to the Sri Lankan side. He's been a fantastic addition, and I just cannot wait, to be honest with you. Cannot wait to see how he does because, oh, for the rest of the, yeah, for the rest of this tour, I'm interested as well because obviously there's only one more test match left. That's it, which again is a shame. I think it should be 3 matches. I'm not a fan of two. I'm not a fan at all of two match test series. Even it's got to be three, man. It's got to be three. Five, I think, is probably too much personally. I think four, I don't know, give or take, is fine. But I think three is perfect. Personally, I think ideally, right? Ideally, it would be great if you could have. It'd be great if every test series would be five, but like with the amount of cricket played and the amount of countries as well around, I'd rather that they play three and you had more chance of playing lots of different, well, just a lot of different countries, which I think it needs to be done for sure. I think people definitely they forget, right, that other countries have things to offer as well. Um, they the conditions, the players, right? Like the experience, it's all a challenge, and it will definitely help the cricketers from your country develop and become more well-rounded cricketers. I think people need to remember that because, for example, if the World Cup is one day, I don't know, as I think, if the World Cup one day is in South Africa, right? And say Australia, to be a to just keep it controversial, Say Australia their team go there and they haven't toured South Africa in 4 years, right before going to the World Cup. That means they haven't played a single match there. So how do they expect to perform there, right? Given that probably a fair few people in that team have not played in South Africa at all, and then in addition to that, you've got a lot of people who they may have played in South Africa, but it's been more than 4 years, right? They played in certain conditions and had that experience. They've managed to, especially the batsmen as well, got a feel, for how bouncy the pitches are, how much they're going to move. It makes a big difference, and for the bowlers as well. What lengths, even sorry, do I need to bowl? Like for example, here in the UK, you can bowl back of a length, but in Australia, you can actually bowl a bit fuller because you get that extra bounce, for example. There's all these different things. So I think people need to be really open. And I saw breaking news actually that what is it? In West Indies and England are playing for. It's now they've named it the Richards Botham Trophy or something or series, but it's five T20s. So how's that a series? That's just why are they not coming to West Indies and playing Test matches? T20s are fine, like play those as well, of course, but I mean that's just silly. Let's have a look. It says, yeah, let's have a look. England and West Indies have increased the number of matches they will play in the Caribbean next year. The sides will meet in 5 2020s, increased from 3 in January. England will then return to play in 3 tests. Okay, fantastic. That's really good. Instead of the 2 originally scheduled in March. Okay, fine. Okay, no, that's cool. That's good. So they'll play 5 T20s and then 3 test matches. Fine. Okay, that's good. A tour of the Caribbean is one of the most iconic for both England players and fans alike. The venues for both series are expected to be announced next month. The Test series will see the sides compete for the Richards Botham Trophy, named in honour of West Indies batsman Sir Vivian Richards and England all-rounder Sir Ian Botham for the first time. The England-West Indies series was the first Test series to be played behind closed doors in a biosecure environment, with England winning 2-1. That was at home. Yeah, so they owe them. They owe them big time. Do you know who else? England owe? Pakistan. They owe us big time, man. They owe us big time. We came and we did a whole tour just like the West Indies did. But the West Indies just played, from what I remember, the West Indies just played a test series. We played a test series, ODI, and T20 series, a whole proper tour, right? And they're repaying us this year with 2 T20s. What a joke! After they said they'd do a whole tour, so I hope they come to Pakistan next year because they should. Like they said they'd repay us, and they better repay us properly. Good shot for just having a look at Nisanka's highlights, and he just looks class, doesn't he? He looks absolutely class. He just looks so good. 385 for 5 off 126 overs. Let's have a look at the lead. The lead is 283. Yeah, that's correct. Really, really good stuff from the Windies. They're doing really, really well, aren't they? I mean, you just cannot blame them. They're doing fantastically. They really are. I've just been super impressed with how fit and fresh as well everyone looks because everyone's in quarantine. I understand it's been happening for quite a bit of time, but I just think it's been really impressive to see the difference in just how fit people are nowadays. Like, really, apart from maybe Shannon Gabriel, he's the only one that's looked bereft of any full fitness, but he kind of always looks like that. But everyone else has looked pretty good, I would say. I think everyone's looked pretty good, if I'm being honest. I've been impressed, especially with the batsmen's mental capacity. I think they've been really, really impressive. For sure. Raheem Corn, just love him. I absolutely love him. He's just so relatable, isn't he? He's just this guy, just getting on with business. You know what I mean? Just getting along, minding his own business, bowling some absolute rippers. Just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, seriously. The dude is a beast. He is just a absolute colossal player for them as well. He's so good. Like, genuinely, like, he's really, really good. I have to say, I've been really, really impressed by how good he's been in general. And yeah, I just think I've been happy to see. For me, I've been extremely happy to see how good he's been, not just not just in this series, but just in general. He's just been so good. He's been so damn good, and that's been impressive. I think that's been the most impressive thing of all. Some of the fielding has been funny, been very funny. People crack me up, seriously. They really do. Right, 386 for 5 off 127. Lead of 284. Only a run from that over from Raheem Cornwall. And let me just update the scorecard. He's been really impressive, I think, has Raheem, despite going for a lot of runs here. I think just in general, how good he's been for West Indies has been quite impressive, I think. And I think he was seen as someone who could just give it a whack and he can bowl a little bit off spin, but they realised that actually he's a good player. Like, he's a damn good player. He's not someone to be underestimated, and he's got a lot of ability for sure, which is really, really good to see, I think. And I just think in general, these guys have been so, so good. Sri Lanka have just been quality, haven't they? I mean, they really have been. They've been so good. On comes Carl Mayers. Carl Mayers has been so good, man. Like, This dude is great. He is an absolute beast of a player. Um, do not count him out, seriously. I think he's been great. I really do. He got 2 quick wickets yesterday, and that kind of turned the game on its head. And now, again, he looks like he is going to come on and he's going to be hoping to pick up some wickets, that's for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if he does, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised if he does. Not one bit. He's a quality player, seriously. He looks really, really good, does Calmeers. He looks absolutely fantabulous. He really does. I've been super impressed in general with just how good some of these players have been. If you look at, obviously, you've got your. I mean, Carl Mayers, by the way, used to be a bowling all-rounder. Can you believe that? Crazy. You wouldn't even think that. But yeah, when he was growing up, he was a bowling all-rounder. He had a pretty bad ankle injury, I think it was that he said, and that basically set him back. And that's really sad to hear, to be honest with you, because I think he's someone who just looks. I mean, he said, "Look, I just want to be involved in all facets, like whether it means bowling, batting, fielding." Even he was just like, anything. I am 100%. I'm all in, basically. And I was like, you know what? You sound fantastic. You sound like someone who everyone can learn a little bit from, in terms of, like, he definitely just wants to learn, right? He wants to learn. He wants to continue to be this player who just, he's just. I've just been very, very impressed in general. I think in total with a lot of the West Indies players, especially given the fact that they probably don't earn a huge amount as well playing Test cricket. I don't think they do. I really, really don't think they do. And I'd be very, very surprised if they do earn a lot, because genuinely, I would be surprised if these guys are earning more than they do, for example, from the CPL. But it's the almost prestige, I guess, in a way, of making sure that they can do it. Has just been great. It's been great to see as well, I think. I've just been super impressed in total with just everyone. I think everyone's been great from both sides, and it's been played in a very good spirit, this test match so far as well. Interesting. Let's have a look. So Mayers without deviation and with deviation. You can see that slight bit of away seam, which is really cool to see. Actually, that's a really good graphic. I love those graphics where it shows a different, like almost a flight path, isn't it? It's basically the flight path of the delivery, and the difference in both. It just shows you that deviation and difference between the two deliveries that normally you look at and you probably think, oh, they look the same, but actually shows you it doesn't. They're very, very different, which is cool to see. Three, 8, 6, 4, 5. I will just update the banner. Oh no, I don't need to. I don't need to. It was, what am I talking about? It was a maiden over. I tried to Sri Lanka should go a bit aggressive now. They are 284 for 5 right now. They need to score the next 75 ASAP. Bloody, if they get 75 runs a trial, that's going to be very good. I think they're in a catch-22 a little bit, because if they're more aggressive, obviously the chance of losing a wicket are higher. And they're probably thinking to themselves, if we lose a wicket, we've got Luckmog coming in, who is probably not fantastic. And after that, we've got nothing, basically. So we could easily get skittled for under 300 if we lose a wicket now. So I think they're looking to get to that 300, as Dick Weller plays a fantastic drive through the offside. Beautiful shot. Really, really good use of the feet. So I think they're going to get to that 300. Then they'll do exactly what you're saying. and play that little bit more aggressive, which will be really good to see. It really will be, and I'm sure they will play that little bit more aggressive as well. So let's have a look and see. But that's probably my prediction for what's going to happen. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Very good sweep shot. Fantastic sweep shot again. That's back-to-back forwards, and maybe Achal, they heard you. They've heard you, Achal. They've said, you know what? We heard you, buddy, and we're coming. We're coming. We're going to do it just for you. That's exactly what's happening here, because they've done exactly what you were saying to do, Achal. They've come out swinging. Well, not swinging, but these kind of calculated aggression needed, which has been very, very impressive for sure. So that's very impressive stuff from them. $394 for 5, by the way. A lead of 292. 128.4 overs gone. I've just been extremely impressed by how good Sri Lanka have been actually in this test match, because a lot of people would have written them off. I think I said they were favourites, West Indies, and rightly so, they're favourites, because you look at their team and how well they've done the series so far. And I know it's a different format, but Sri Lanka are not particularly strong in test matches. So this has been an almighty effort, and I understand that Test cricket is also one of West Indies' worst formats as well, is Test match cricket. But I think this has been fantastic showing so far. I have to say, it's been very, very good stuff so far from Sri Lanka, and very good over, fantastic over actually. 11 from it. Rakeem Cornwall kind of just, paces away, and I think he looks very unhappy. And he's probably thinking to himself, "Bloody hell! I've put in some hard yards here. I've bowled 37 overs, and I just got slapped in that last over." So he probably won't be particularly happy with that. I can understand why. It's a 397 for 5, a lead of 295. So now creeping upon that 300. I think that's why, John, they're getting close towards that. As soon as they get past that, I think Dikwella especially, because Dikwella can do it, he'll tee off. I think he'll tee off big time, and it'll be quite good to watch. So I'm looking forward to seeing him teeing off. That's for sure. I think he'll just be really, really good to see. I've just looked at Carl Mayers as well, and thought, you know what? I think it's Carl Mayers and Bonner. They can both bowl. And I was hearing the commentators saying that technically you could go in with 3 or 4 bowlers, right? And because you've got Mayers, Bonner, and I think it's Mayers, Bonner, and obviously Brathwaite. But Brathwaite I don't think he's a bit village, to be fair, the way he bowls. So I wouldn't count on Brathwaite. I wouldn't count on Brathwaite. He's very village. It's village off spin. But Charles says anything around the 350 gives Sri Lanka so much leverage. They can then control the pace of the game. If they're intelligent, they can draw it if needed to, and always keep the win option open. Yeah, I agree with you. I think 100%, like the 350 is what they need. I would say 350. Let's see. Right? I mean, it's a difficult one. It's difficult for sure. But I think they can do it. Well, they need these two to stay in like ASAP. Absolutely, like literally ASAP. Ooh. 397 for 5. Really, really good, man. Come on. Let's see how this goes. I want to see Dikwella tee off, which I think can happen. I think it'll happen. I think he'll tee off. I think he's going to tee off. After they get to a lead of about 300, 305, I think he's just going to be like, let's go, let's go, guys, let's go. And I'm going to be like, yep, can't wait for this. Can't wait for this. Tee off, man, tee off. 397 for 5. And this has been a phenomenal, by the way, this has been a phenomenal test match to watch in terms of just the competitive nature of the match. Forget about in terms of skill level. I think the skill level has been decent. I can't lie and say it's been elite. I don't think it has been. I think it's been very good though. At times, it's also lacked a little bit as well, but that happens. I mean, test matches ebb and flow in general. That's kind of the nature of a test match. So that's what I would say. Carl Mayers seems to have a golden arm, so let's see if he can pick up a wicket here now for West Indies, because I'm looking at this thinking, who's going to pick up a wicket? Because Raheem Cornwall, even though the pitch is turning, he seems to be struggling big time on here, not really able to utilise the pitch to the best of his ability, really. He's struggling to utilise it correctly, is Raheem Cornwall. That one's kept low from Carl Mayers. I'm thinking that they bring back on a strike bowler. I don't know, 398 for 5 off 130 overs, a lead of 296. Nasanka's still in. He's creeping towards that 100, only 14 short now of it. 86 off 221. And Dick Weller is 61 off 117. And I just think that it was funny who said it. I think it was Ian Bishop said this surface deserves 100. And I think he was probably hoping it would be a West Indies batsman, which it still could be in that second innings from West Indies. But it looks like Nasanka may be the one to get it. Obviously, you know, Ashada Fernando got 91. So he'll be really disappointed because he is very new to Test cricket as well. And to get that chance to come in and really put on a fantastic display of batting as he did, he'll be really happy with. But at the same time, he'll be really disappointed not to push on there, I think. Azari Joseph back on, so I was saying about a strike bowler, they brought one back on here. Charles says, to be honest, the ball is still swinging a bit. Yeah, it is. I think it is. West Indies seem to have given up the thinking side of the game after 130 overs of baking. It looks really hot there, doesn't it? But they'll be used to that. They should be used to that. But I think there was a bit of weariness around. They obviously picked up that really fantastic early wicket, which Alzari Joseph got them, picking up the wicket of Dhananjay, who looked really dangerous and was scoring quickly as well, and could have taken the game away from them very, very quickly. They got him, which was really good. But I think after that, just having a look at Nasanka and how solid his defence has been, anything on that off stump or four stump line, just resolute in defence. This is great to watch. Look at this, man. Solid. So solid. And he's playing it late under his eyes. His bat is, it's just beautiful. It's beautiful to watch. I think if you really want to appreciate cricket, you got to also appreciate the defensive side of the game and appreciate how much skill is involved in that as well, and kind of appreciate that. And people will. They'll appreciate it more and more. I mean, with T20 cricket, I think it's harder to get people to, but once you see it and once you get that understanding of Test cricket, your appreciation for how well people are playing is great, especially with a swinging ball or a seaming ball. To defend successfully in there is just fantastic. But I agree with you, the ball is still swinging a little bit. Alzari Joseph gets the ball to shape in and away from the right-hander as well. So he's got that in his locker. He's a very skilled bowler, just lacked a bit of consistency early doors. After picking up that wicket, he was a bit scattergun, as I said, as were a lot of the bowlers. And then they kind of bowled these very, let's say, unchallenging lines, did the West Indies bowlers, which was a little bit disappointing because these guys are so good. I mean, some of these bowlers. Kemar Roach is unbelievable. I think he's been fantastic. And the 400 is up for Sri Lanka, 400 for 5. I mean, what a knock in terms of what an innings this has been from Sri Lanka. I mean, 400 in a second innings, right? I mean, this doesn't look like yes, it does look pretty good to bat on, but it doesn't look like it's not a road. I would say it's not. So this has been a very, very good display of batting from Sri Lanka here. But yeah, as I was saying, Kemar Roach, Shannon Gabriel, these guys are very, very good bowlers. Jason Holder, Alzari Joseph. I mean, they've got some really talented bowlers who can get the ball to talk, but they're bowling these lines that were not particularly dangerous, and it just meant the Sri Lankan batsman could leave at will, really, and it wasn't really challenging the edges of the bat, which was a little bit disappointing, I think, at one point. And then they realised actually the Sri Lankan batsmen are not going to be enticed into a false shot by those slightly wide deliveries, so they went for some of the more kind of Hollywood approaches, you might say, of going for a special delivery, let's say. Some of those special deliveries that didn't quite come off. And in the end, it was one of those things that you looked at it and just thought, well, okay, maybe they need to be a bit more patient. But as you said, Charles, I think they've maybe not given up, but they've been a bit impatient. That's a fantastic shot from Dickweller over the Silver's head, and I think no, it doesn't quite run away. It's a very good shot, but will only pick up two. Charles, we don't normally talk about this side of the game, says a Charles, much, but the timing of the swing matters quite a lot. Every early swing is very different from late swing. The ball is swinging late right now. Yeah, so in fact, we do actually. I've talked about this before, Charles, and I've said it to. It was to Venu actually. I was talking to Venu about it when I live streamed. It was actually this. It was day one, I think. So if anyone that doesn't know, which I'm sure most people do know, there's two types of swing as the child is alluding to. So there's the swing from your hand, which is early swing, which you can pick up. It's a lot easier to play as a batsman. When it swings from the hand, you can pick it up very quickly, and it just stays on that trajectory, and it's just a lot easier to do so, right? To play it. Or you get late swing, which is what a lot of very good bowlers can do. They can swing the ball, but late, and that's having that control and also having a firm wrist behind the ball. You also need to back yourself and bowl kind of a little bit fuller as well, which I think Achal is alluding to here again. He says the ball is coming straight off the wicket and then moving with the wind late. If Holder and Joseph bowl a little straight and fuller length, they could find a wicket. Yeah, I agree. Let's see there, man. Let's see. I think also there's a bit of nip off the surface as well. I think there's a bit of swing a bit of sea movement off the surface as well, for sure. But yeah, there's a bit of late swing there for sure. Let's have a look. Azari Joseph has actually bowled that's interesting. He's bowled a little off cutter there, bit shorter. Interesting. Good tactic, actually. I mean, you got to change up a little bit. Obviously, you're not going to have change ups to T20s, but you have some. As Carmez comes back on and with that little gentle medium pace, but he gets the ball to move a little bit off the seam with his little dibby dobblies, which is fantastic. Just having a look at that replay. Did deviate slightly. Tried to off cutter, like a shorter off cutter, which is very interesting. I think almost trying to angle it in to Dick Wells, he would fend it off and he'd then kind of get caught and bowled or caught into play. Mays goes short and the Sanka pulls that away expertly to the mid-wicket boundary. Really, really good shot. That's loose from Carl Mays. I'm assuming he didn't mean to go short. I'm pretty sure that is a loose delivery. Oh, that's a big no ball. Oh my god. That's a huge no ball by Carl Mays. I don't think he bowls much, does he, in the nets? I mean, he can't do. But I think he said he had quite a big injury, so I'm assuming he doesn't like overload himself. So that's a huge no ball, by the way. That's not a small one. That's huge, and that'll be why, because he's probably just still a little bit rusty. I'd like to see what he's like if he's fully fit, running in. I mean, I think he's got something like I think his strike rate is something like 40 or 47, 48 in first class cricket, which is unbelievable. So I'm assuming he runs off a a longer run up than this and kind of steams in, but he's still not 100% fit. Guys as well in the chat, thank you very much for listening. Please do remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I really do appreciate it, and thank you also for those watching as well. If anyone interested, if you're interested in the West Indies, I actually did a interview with Hayden Walsh Jr., who actually was fielding actually a bit in this game. Obviously not in the 11, but he's one of the fielding substitutes. But he's West Indies leg spinner who plays in the ODIs and T20s, and he also as well. Yeah, I mean, he won the CPL in 2019 and was the MVP there as well. So do check it out. He's a really nice guy, actually, very nice guy. Charles says, remember we talked about T20 skills in Test cricket. This is the time for it. Mix it up. Batsman looking very comfortable with the pace of bowlers more than deviation. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Which is why I think Azar Joseph went for that off cutter, didn't he? And I think, to be fair, Charles, like, bowling your Yorkers and your slow balls or your cutters even. I think cutters and Yorkers have always been in Test cricket. I think it's more the stuff like the back of the hand, the knuckleballs. Like, obviously that's stuff that's happened recently. But yeah, no, I agree. The thing is, the ball's still doing a bit. I think they've just been very, very ill-disciplined in the last hour or so, have West Indies, in terms of their bowling. They just haven't quite stuck to their lines and lengths in the right way, which has been pretty disappointing. So I think overall, that's just been like, what are you doing? Like, you got to be better there. So that's been quite disappointing, I think, on the whole. But yeah, I agree with you. I think they definitely, like, now and then, I think they need to chuck in a cutter or a Yorker even. I haven't really seen many Yorkers. Alzari Joseph looks like someone who can bowl fantastic Yorkers. He a lot of the times he'll come wide of the crease and he angles into the batsman. So I would be telling Alzari Joseph at this point, look, we need a wicket. Why are you not trying to bowl a leg stump Yorker or a leg stump Yorker? Like, why are you not trying to bowl that angled into him? These guys are set. We need something. So bowl a couple kind of, back of a length, swinging away from them, and then just chuck in that fuller Yorker coming into them with that in-swinging Yorker and really make it tough and make them have to work. I would say that. I would say that 100%. Azari Joseph has got that ability as well. He seems like someone who's got so many tools that maybe he's got too many at his disposal that he doesn't know completely how to utilize them in the correct way. He's been so good in ODIs, Azari Joseph, in recent times, but he's definitely something that he can work on. Is his test, what's his test apprenticeship. He's still very young, only 24, and he looks very, very good. As I said, I think he's got all the tools to be an absolutely fantastic bowler. I really do. I think he's going to be absolutely class. He's already looking class, I think, let's be honest, but I think he will be an absolute beast of a player. And guys in the chat as well, please do remember to like this video. I really do appreciate it. And subscribe to the channel. It really does help. It's 409 for 5. I'll just update the scorecard. And Azari Joseph, as I said, is a very, very talented bowler. Very talented player. Just needs to utilize his skills to the best of his ability, I would say, and really use that skill set. Carl Mayers, obviously bowling 9 overs so far now. He looks someone. I don't know. It's an interesting one. Kemal Roach has about 21 overs. He picked up 2 wickets, as has Carl Mayers even. Obviously yesterday picked up those 2 with his little golden arm spell, and Azari Joseph won. So it's been pretty hard going, especially for Rakeem Cornwall on a track that had actually turned quite a fair bit. Here we go. Yeah, there you go. A bit too short there from Azari Joseph, punched into the offside, and that will be just 1 to the sweeper. I want to see how Azari Joseph just back himself, because at the moment, Sri Lanka are getting runs, right? The lead is now 308. They're getting runs on Sri Lanka. So what's the harm in saying, I'm going to put the ball up there a little bit, try and make it do something, and then, as I said, okay, if they leave it outside of stump, fine. What I would do is I would say, I'm going to bowl kind of a good length just outside of stump for 3 or 4 deliveries. Okay? Maybe chuck in a short one, and then the Yorker, bang, chuck it in, and just see what happens. Charles says, is Mayers working on his endurance or playing a professional game of cricket? He literally gave 6 easy leaves this over. I could bat against him the whole day. Oh, I tell you what, Charlie, he's a good bowler though. Yesterday he bowled really well. He bowled really well yesterday. But yeah, I agree with you. I think he could have done better than that last one. I think he probably went into a shell a little bit after getting pulled for four. He just thought my length, sorry, has gone a little bit, and he just thought, let's try and be a bit more miserly here for the rest of the over because I don't want to leak runs. But I agree. I think he could have definitely been more dangerous with his line and lengths, which Azari Joseph needs to do here. I think 100%. They've got to utilize it now as much as possible. West Indies. They've got to really break this partnership. It's a must because now that the lead's gone past 300, it's going to be really tough to chase anything above, I think, 320. It's going to be really tough, I think, especially with Dananjaya and also Mbodinia on day 5 with the footholds, etc. The footholds as well, I was having a look. I think they're perfect for Mbodinia, who's a left arm spin, although he normally comes around the wicket. So, but against some of the lefties in the West Indies lineup, that's going to be a nightmare because they're perfect for him if he's bowling over the wicket and Bordinia. And for Dananjaya coming around the wicket, could it help him? Probably not. No, it won't be able to help him. But I was looking at some of the footholds and he just looks perfect for him. But Dananjaya on the other side, so that Dananjaya from one side, he's got footholds there, which will be perfect. On the other side, you've got, yeah, that's going to be difficult. It's going to be really difficult. I'm telling you that right now for the West Indies. I don't think it's going to be easy. And Sri Lankan batsmen are making it look pretty easy here. But I think maybe West Indies don't have that type of spin attack, and that's why Craig Brathwaite came on. But he's not a bowler, right? I mean, he's someone who he shouldn't be bowling at all. But Sri Lanka putting on an absolute masterclass at the moment. They really are. I mean, 4-12 for 5. Good pull shot. That's a fantastic pull shot, I think. Yes, it is. One bounce 4. And Dick Wellery, I think, he's starting to have a look and say, I'm going to go a bit quicker here. And like we can get to a bigger total quicker than I think. 157 runs from 283 balls in this partnership. That's an absolute cracking pull shot from Dick Weller. Really, really good pull shot. Oh, very, very good shot. 416 for 5 here, and Azari Joseph. That's, as I said, it's a bit loose. Like you can't. Why are you bowling on the short side? You've got to bang it in. It's got to be on the money if you're going to bowl short here. To these guys who are already, they're already in, right? They're in. They're looking good. Right, an advert. Oh, mate. Here we go. Shannon Gabriel. Big Shannon Gabriel's on. I'll tell you what, it's funny because he's someone who doesn't look the most athletic, but he bowls absolute wheels, by the way. And he looks in pretty good shape. He's had obviously these fitness issues, which is a bit of a nightmare, but he looks a damn good bowler. I mean, he's been good for a number of years, so I've been really, really impressed with him. He looked really good in the UK as well when he came over, and yeah. 417 for 5, and a lead of 314 here. And I need to update the scorecard, so I'm going to do that right now, actually. Lead of 315. And guys, I am going to go in a little bit. Not quite yet, but I probably will go in a bit. I need to pray, which will take precedent. Rightio. Come on, Shannon. Oh. Very good stuff. Shannon Gabriel. Come on then, Shannon. Okay, just turns and be balls wheels. Look at this, watch. Ping. 135 Ks. That's him warming up. Crazy. Very good. Come on then, Shannon. Come on. I want Windies to get a breakthrough here because I think realistically, me and Sri Lanka are probably going to get 330 at least. At least, right? Let's be honest. Charles says, as fast bowlers in India, we were trained for bowling in testing conditions, a more fuel-efficient bowling strategy. Since bowling 20 to 25 overs in 45 degrees centigrade is crazy. Yeah, I agree. I agree, and that's why I said, like, for example, Jofra Archer, if you're a fast bowler, if you're a medium pacer or you're maybe a medium fast, then fine. But if you're touching towards fast, medium fast, like you cannot be bowling 20 to 25 overs on the trot. Like you've got to be bowling quick 5 over spells, 6, 7 maximum in a test match. Spells I'm talking about. Maybe 3 7 over spells maximum in a test match. In a day. Gabriel he looks tired. He's up to 140 Ks, but he's looking tired. I think the whole of the West Indies are just tired. I mean, they've been bowling for a long time now. I mean, from yesterday onwards to today, and Sri Lanka have just dug in there and they put on this really mammoth score so far of 418 or 5 even. A lead of 316 is looking ominous, and I'll tell you what, this game is going. It's not going the way I thought it'd go. I thought that West Indies, the Windies, would be in better control here, but they haven't been. It's actually been a very good performance overall from Sri Lanka, especially the last couple of days, and they've really kind of just taken the game by the scruff of the neck. They definitely have, and West Indies have just been helpless at times to stop it, unfortunately. I mean, the Sanka 94, I mean, he deserves 100. He's been incredible in his test debut. Of course, he's also debuted in the other 2 formats as well. It's a 418 for 5 off 130, it's 134 overs even, lead of 316, and the Sanka on 94 only 6 shy of his 100. Dickwella 71 of 130, so pretty quick 71 so far from him. And having a look at this partnership, I mean, it's 159 runs from 290 balls. And of course, that Tiramane Fernando partnership was amazing as well. 162 runs from 309 balls. Incredible stuff. Guys in the chat as well, thank you very much for joining. Please do remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Ali, thank you very much for joining. He says this game has been an absolute roller coaster. It has been. It's been great. It's been a great watch, hasn't it, Ali? I think. I was saying that The other two series, for example, like New Zealand, Bangladesh, and England, India, just even though obviously New Zealand, for example, are an incredible team at the moment, India and England are incredible teams at the moment, but in general, I think the level of competition has been very, it hasn't been as good in a lot of the matches compared to this. I think it's been pretty evenly matched, and the competition has been fantastic. I think overall, for me anyway, and some of the performances from especially the Sri Lankan batsmen over the last couple of days has been mightily impressive on a in the second innings, and they've really improved from that first innings where they probably thought they'd underperformed slightly, and they put on a fantastic display of batting, resolute test batting here, for sure. It's been really impressive to see. That's 134 Ks there from Joseph, and he needs to be trying to look to find the edge there. It's 418 for 5, 418 even for 5. The Sanka's on 94, Dickwell on 71. I mean, they've got to break this partnership. Otherwise, I don't think. What do we think, guys in the chat? Let me know. What do you think is a chaseable target for West Indies, or what's the total? About what is the highest total that West Indies can chase? Do you think tomorrow, or part of today and tomorrow? Realistically, I mean, are we talking? They chased what I think it was 379 in Bangladesh again in that second Test match, which is unbelievable. Which is away from home as well, by the way. But with Embodinia and also who is it? Embodinia and also Dhananjaya, those two spinning it like crazy tomorrow. Really good spin bowlers, I would say. Bowling tomorrow as well. It's going to be difficult, but look, it's not Sri Lanka, so it's not going to turn as much as those home conditions. I don't know. It'll be interesting. But I'd like to know what you guys think in terms of a total, the kind of the highest total that you guys think realistically, West Indies are going to be able to chase. So are we talking about, okay, anything 320 or below they can chase? Or are we thinking actually which the lead at the moment is 318, by the way. So, or are we thinking anything above 350, for example, they can't chase? So anything up till 350 is doable. Because I reckon if you want to be reasonable, I reckon 340 is doable. Anything above there, I'd be very surprised if West Indies chase it. Very surprised. But I think anything above, I think at the moment, Sri Lanka are in the driving seat no matter what, I think. Even if they were to lose all their wickets now, I think the lead is now 320. I'd still slightly favour Sri Lanka. But in home conditions, you never know, and they've got a very good batting line. They're back pretty deep as well. West Indies. Azari Joseph can bat, and he's pretty far down that order. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's at 8 or 9 even actually, because Raheem Cornwall at 8. Charles says Joseph is giving up a lot of energy at the beginning of his run up. He could avoid the false step and slow his run up a bit to conserve energy, entire energy on the load up instead. Yeah, I agree. 100%. Yeah, I think it's interesting, actually. That's a very interesting point. I don't know. I thought at one point that he kind of falls over a little bit, but as I've seen him more, I think it actually works in Watchalong. And I don't know. I could be wrong. But he generates a lot of pace from his action. So I feel like he really does fling himself into his action, if that makes sense. I guess you're thinking more of, rather than the action he's got now, it'll be more like Mark Wood, for example, who kind of trots in and then goes bang really hard into the surface. The only issue with that, to a degree, is that it can open up more injuries as well. I think there's maybe a fine balance for sure, but I can see why you'd say that as well, because it could definitely be a case of him slightly tweaking it and maybe generating potentially even more pace, which would be incredible, wouldn't it? This partnership is 163 from 296 balls. Nasanka 95 of 235 deliveries for him, and Dickwell 74 of 135 even deliveries. Charles has observed Joseph as he runs in. He's running hard in the beginning and then slowing up Either he is exhausted or or he has a flaw in his bowling run up. Yeah, potentially, for sure. Lead of 320 now for the West Indies. 422 for 5. Nissanka is 95 of 236. Dickwella is 74 of 135. Oh, that was out, mate. They didn't review that. Oh my gosh. What was this? So he's nicked that behind. Oh no. Oh, they're going to rue that, especially Bonner dropping Dickweller as well early doors. That was a shocker. They'll be really disappointed with that. They'll feel like they've had chances and they just haven't quite managed to capitalize. I mean, that was a big one for sure, to break the partnership, which at the moment is really taking the game away from the West Indies at the moment. Let's have a look. Yeah, he's edged it. He's gone to flick it, and it's an inside edge. Crazy. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go. I need to pray. Thank you very much though for tuning in. I may be on later, may not be. I'll see how it goes. Please do remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you very much.